You're listening to the Truck Talk with Trivista podcast, brought to you by TrivistACompanies.com, the ultimate source for all things trucking, and sponsored by Louisville Masonry and Stone in Louisville, Kentucky, where beauty and function meet. I'm Anita Massey, Director of Marketing for Trivista Companies. Thanks for joining us today. So today we are at the Trivista, Iowa location in Altoona, Iowa, and we are joined by Ty Hill, Trivista's Service Manager for Iowa, and Adnan Smailbegovic, Altoona's Service Advisor, and I want to thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, appreciate your time. I know you're busy, so I appreciate you guys sitting down and having this conversation. Today we're going to be talking about Trivista's Preventive Maintenance Program. I guess it sounds kind of simple and obvious as, yeah, everybody needs to have a preventive maintenance program, but I wanted to take some time to really drill in on what does that mean for Trivista. So Ty, why don't you start out by maybe listing some of the main categories that would fall under a preventive maintenance checkup when somebody brings their truck in?
Well, we hit, the DOT items are the most important piece. Brakes, oil change, grease job, front ends. We usually check the air conditioning, make sure it's working. Everything that it's going to take to keep the customer's truck up on the road and running, because that's the most important thing to them is their uptime, and that's what we try and focus on. We try to look at stuff that could fail out on the road while they're running.
Okay, miles equal money. Okay. Adnan, what are some of the things that you specifically do? Like talk about what are all the things that come in with an oil change inspection.
Sure.
What would that include?
Sure. So we have different packages that come with our oil changes. We do quick lubes. We do a service or a B service. A quick lube is something along 40 points of inspection. So we will do the fluids and your filters, but then what we'll do is we'll do 40 points of looking at brakes, tires, shocks, airbags, suspension, basically the whole safety components of the vehicle, make sure everything is safe. In your A service, you're going to bump that up into the 64-point inspection, and then the B service is going to be the A service plus a DOT inspection. So it's going to be an 84-point inspection, oil change with a DOT inspection, so your annual inspection will be complete at that time, and that gives us basically, we're looking through the whole vehicle, front, back, top to bottom, looking for any DOT imperfections or safety issues that are going to cause issues down the road.
Okay. Now, is that something that a customer can have done while they wait, or do they have to drop that off?
No, they can wait on it. The big service that Adnan's talking about is about a 3.5 to 4 hour service,
okay,
including the DOT. The shorter one is about a 2 hour service, and we have customers wait all the time to get those done.
Wait in the driver's lounge.
Again, they're trying to get on the road as fast as they can, and they don't leave them. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about oil change. What else? I'm sure probably brakes.
Brakes and tires are pretty important concept of everything that we're looking at. We don't want brakes getting anything below 30-40% brake life. We'll start letting customers know that there's an issue that needs to be addressed either now or at a later date. But basically right now, while it's in the shop, we could have a brake job that's going to cost us, let's say $1,500, right? Well, that brake job on the road is going to cost the same customer maybe $3,000 to $4,000 because you're on the side of the road, you have a DOT inspector on there, they're measuring your brakes.
Could be an out of service situation where you end up having to get towed or have a service call even to do on that. So that's why we try to prevent that.
Sure, exactly.
I'm sorry.
So continue on with the brakes. So what else?
So, shocks, airbags. Airbags are a pretty big item that's missed a lot of times until they start breaking, essentially. Until they start leaking, most guys don't change them, So a lot of times when I do see a set of air brakes or airbags that are kind of one set's going, but the other one's kind of on the way there, we'll recommend, hey, we can do this one side that needs the attention now, but while we're here, we like to address both sides to make sure that the truck's going to slow down equally, the suspension is going to handle the road equally. So we're basically selling value as part of the package. So we're here to do your oil change, but it's not just the oil that we're after. We want to make sure that your vehicle is going to be up and running, and it's going to be safe to do for next weeks or months to do.
Yeah, trying to prevent those unexpected costs down the road. Yeah.
Exactly.
You mentioned shocks and airbags. Talk about tires. What do you guys do from a preventive maintenance for tires?
We look at tire wear. As far as if we see unusual wear, well, we'll bring that to the customer's attention. We'll look at tread depth, and we don't, here at this location, we don't do any tire work itself, but what we'll do is we're glad to set up an appointment with a customer at a location that we use to try and make it a one-stop shop, if you want to say that. We'll schedule the tire work, get it done, bring the truck back here, and we'll even take the truck over for them, bring it back to our location, then bill it out as all one service that way.
Okay. So what else would fall under preventive maintenance? Lights, AC? What
Alignments,
else?
tire
Alignments.
work, brakes, suspension.
This time of year right now, with it being so hot out, AC work.
That's critical.
We
Yeah.
inspect the AC, make sure it's working. During the winter, we inspect the heating system, make sure that's all working. We're going to try and make the customer as comfortable as possible in their truck when they're running down the road. Like we alluded earlier, the worst thing we want to happen is to do a service and have that truck go out and have a problem right after it's been in the shop. So we try and look at that stuff that we think could fail down the road, belts, hoses, wear items, that kind of stuff that we've kind of got used to what the DOT may be looking for at a certain time. So we'll look at that a little harder than we would, other stuff. We look at the whole truck very hard anyway. But the big inspection that Adnan's talking about is a bumper to bumper, like he said, top to bottom, and we go over everything.
So is this tied in at all with the on-command connectivity within the truck? Does it bring up things that need to be looked at? Or is this kind of separate from that, and this is just before you take a trip, you come in to have preventive maintenance?
Yep,
Okay.
Yep, that's what that would
Okay,
be.
so not something from a fault code necessarily.
Correct. We do, anytime a truck comes in, whether it's for a service or just general work, and we pull a health report every time the truck comes in, so that tells us if there's any codes in there.
Okay.
And if we see something that maybe the driver didn't say, we'll bring that up either to the driver or the company to try and, again, help them from having an issue down the road.
There is a little bit of talk about that 360 platform that we do use about
Yes.
scheduling stuff into the shop for preventive maintenance. So that's something that we can have customers look at as well. But as far as preventive maintenance, just remember an airbag costs $100 in the shop, and it costs $800 when you're side of the road. So a lot of the preventive maintenance that we spew is try and save customers money in the long run. So make sure the vehicle is safe today, and make sure that the vehicle can keep driving down the road in a safe manner. So.
Okay.
And uptime. That's what the whole preventive maintenance package is about, is uptime.
Right, keeping those trucks rolling.
Rolling down the road, time is money, and they make more miles when they're out on the road than they are sitting here in our parking lot.
Exactly.
So,
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. I've enjoyed talking with you today and appreciate your time.
thank you.
Thanks. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Truck Talk with Trivista podcast. You can find more podcast talks or just general information about Trivista Companies and its many dealerships at trivistacompanies.com. Until next time, be safe out there